Beep, 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 beep. Breaking. Breaking news. You know I love a bit of good news, don't you? Have you heard? I like a bit of good news. So here we go. Without further ado, we present some good news. Important from America. Hello, America. Right, so let's just get this done because it's really good news and I want to share it with you as quickly as possible. This is from libertycentre.org and it's in reference to a £100,000 payment to a parent for the reasons that I will outline for you now. Schools brainwashing kids to identify as bisexual and transgender, all behind parents' backs. Middle school is a confusing time for kids, but it is especially confusing when schools exclude parents from important decisions in the lives of their children, like whether to be socially transitioned to a different gender. This was the experience of Jessica Conan. Her daughter, Alicia, was recruited to join an equality club, where she was taught about bisexuality, transgender identities, and other LGBT concepts in just the 6th grade. These are quite in schools. You know, they've got them in schools, haven't they? These equality clubs. That's this. I think it is. But do you think it's the same as the affinity groups that we see popping up in companies everywhere? What do you think? Are they the same thing? Are these affinity groups the same as these after-school clubs that are, you know, run for the sake of I don't know what? Well, I don't know what, okay? It's the same thing. Shortly after joining the club, the school began to foster Alicia's identification as a boy, giving her articles on how to conceal her supposed new gender identity from her mother and giving her a gender support plan. What the... Is this going on in English schools? This gender support plan business, these LGBT, look up at QA clubs outside after school, are they? Oh, this is good news. Right, okay. The gender support plan, which they gave her, right, told her how to, not tell her mother, how to keep it from her mother. And it required school staff to refer to her by a male name and male pronouns and to let her use the unisex teacher's restroom instead of the girls' restroom. All without even informing Jessica what it was doing. This is Jessica as the mother, okay? This is so familiar sounding. We've got this in the UK. I imagine it's also going on in Australia and New Zealand and everywhere else. Yep, with these LGBT clubs. After many months, the school eventually told Jessica that it had socially transitioned Alicia behind her back and demanded that Jessica refer to her daughter by a male name and male pronouns. What you've got to understand is here, especially if you're new to the game, I don't imagine there's many of you out there, if you're new to the game, what you've got to understand is here that kind of behaviour is not rare. We see this all the time. But also that the beginnings of the social transition, i.e. the minute you mention it, the minute gender identity becomes a thing in the mind of the individual, the iatrogenic damage begins. We've got to remember that. The damage is in the actual thing itself. As soon as that child takes that on, child says, I'm, non-binary, or I'm the opposite sex to what I really am, that is the moment, if you affirm, confirm, or in any way give veracity to this nonsense, that's the moment that the damage of the child begins. And subsequently the damage of the parents, the damage of friends, the damage of that child's social life, and they've only got to be a few weeks down the road and it's too hard for them to come back. Remember, the minute they mention the idea that they've got this trans identity, that's it, you're in trouble. So that's important to remember. So they told her, by then obviously the damage could well have been done. The Supreme Court has consistently held that parents have the right to direct the upbringing and education of their children. This includes the right to have a say in whether the children's school socially transition them to a different gender. Parents are denied that right when schools think they know better than parents how to raise their children and intentionally hide information from mums and dads. Jessica and Alicia are not alone. In fact, the California Department of Education actively encourages schools to keep secrets from parents, much like Spreckles Union School District did with Jessica. Schools across the country are doing the same thing. Same over here, I believe. Right? The Centre for American Liberty will not allow this usurpation. What a great word. What a great word. usurpation of parental rights to go unchecked, right? So that's the story. That was what happened was this school transitioned this individual without the parents being told, and the result was there was a court case. Well, there was the threat of a court case, which is often enough to get these nutters to back down. In this case, the Center for American Liberty, which is on Twitter, and I've got links in the doobers as usual for both what was the original crowdfunder and the information that follows. The Center for American Liberty is proud to announce a settlement in Conan versus Spreckles Union School District that resulted in a $100,000 payment by the school district to Jessica and Alicia for the violation of her rights. Thanks for all the hard work. And then there's a video there you can watch. All right, of the two of them, Jessica and Alicia, who I wish all the best moving forward, right? So, you know, there's something similar going on in the UK right now, which is being run by a rather wonderful lawyer called Anna. There's a great video of Anna laying out her stall, which is tremendous, which we shared, and I posted on my YouTube some months ago. So what we now have is a situation where in the UK, they're taking the Department of Education to the cleaners, to the court. To the cleaners we go. To the court, right? God, I look like Jigglypuff then. To the cleaners we go. So where a number of parents have come together and said, look, this has been going on, and the Department of Education have been teaching this rubbish, and they've now said, oh, here we go, right, let's see if we can get them in front of a judge. So that's what we're hoping is going to happen next in this situation. But great news there, $100,000. Now, this brings up another thing that I've mentioned before, but I'll say again. Payouts in this country are pathetic. Doesn't sting enough, does it? Right? Doesn't sting enough. So, you know, oh, I was fired by my employer because I was, you know, because I believed in reality. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's 10 grand. Yeah, get in the bin. This stuff needs to sting. It really needs to sting. And I don't think the payouts that people are getting is anywhere near big enough. So we've got a win. Yay! A palpable win. We've got a situation in Britain brewing exactly the same, which I envisage will be interesting to see what happens with the Department of Education. But yet that still leaves Scotland and Wales in the dark. I mean, they're both, not the dark. I mean, they're heading full, you know, there's the lunacy, that way. In terms of education, the PSHE in Wales is astonishing. And we'll hear more about that later. And then tonight, in my broadcast, beep, 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 I've got a very interesting case of a school, a faith school, and what they've done. And I think you'll find that interesting. And that's another piece of breaking information that was sent to me by one of my lovely followers. Thank you very much for that. So there you go. Let's take the win and get on with the day. There's more to do. Kaloo Kalay. See you later.